3620. Oh my God! 35! With that.
Police dash cams don't lie. They're always rolling, always watching, and sometimes what they capture is so wild, it feels like a movie. From the most chaotic pursuits to moments that'll leave you speechless.
Crashing into a 56-year-old woman driving a Kia Soul.
Crash.
These are 20 of the craziest things ever caught on police dash cam. So without wasting time, let's start with the first wild moment that got the internet talking.
Whoa! Oh my God!
It was just past midnight when Tulsa police officer Tyler Warden found himself at the center of one of nature's scariest jump scares. While patrolling during a thunderstorm, his cruiser's dash cam captured the exact moment a lightning bolt struck the road just feet away from him. The footage is unreal. 1 second it's quiet rain, the next, boom. A blinding white flash, a deafening crack, and sparks flying as the bolt hits a nearby utility pole. Officer Warden slams the brakes, momentarily stunned by how close it came. The pole itself shook but didn't fall, and somehow Warden came out without a scratch. But this wasn't just a fluke moment. Experts later reviewed the footage and said it's one of the clearest examples ever of lightning nearly striking a moving police cruiser. The electrical surge was so intense, it temporarily fried part of the car's systems. While no arrests were made, unless you count Mother Nature's flex, it remains one of the most talked about dash cam captures ever shared by the department. And honestly, the video looks more like something out of a Marvel movie than a routine patrol. But this next guy wasn't dodging lightning. He was dodging the law at 140 miles per hour. Former Welsh rugby player Meredith Francis didn't just break the speed limit, he shattered it. In one of the wildest police chases ever recorded in the UK, dashcam footage shows Francis tearing down the A470 at a jaw-dropping 140 miles per hour in a white BMW. He wasn't running late for practice, he was trying to ditch the cops after being caught with a stash of cocaine, cannabis, burner phones, and over 2,000 pounds in cash. The chase starts with flashing lights and sirens, but Francis ignores everything. He weaves between cars, nearly hits a few, and then loses control entirely. The crash was violent. The dashcam captures the moment his car skids, slams a curb, and spins into a stop. Officers rush in and find more than just a dazed driver. They find a mobile drug operation in the back seat. He was immediately arrested, later convicted of dangerous driving and possession with intent to distribute. The footage went viral, not just because of the speed, but because people couldn't believe a former athlete risked everything in one high-speed meltdown. Francis is banned from driving for 3 years and no longer plays rugby, and the BMW was absolutely totaled. And unlike Francis, the next suspect had passengers and an escape plan straight through a Manhattan tunnel. The Queens Midtown Tunnel is not where you expect to find yourself in a high-speed chase. But that's exactly what happened when NYPD officers tried pulling over a Jeep Grand Cherokee with fake plates. Behind the wheel is a man running an illegal taxi service. Meanwhile, inside the car are 3 terrified women who had no idea they were about to become part of one of NYC's wildest pursuits. The driver, 33-year-old John Severino, took off like he had nothing to lose. He darted into the tunnel at full speed, nearly hitting multiple officers along the way. Dashcam footage shows it all, sirens blaring, cars swerving, and a chase unfolding in one of the tightest, most dangerous spots in the city. Cops closed in fast. Severino was boxed in within minutes. When the SUV finally stopped, the scene was pure chaos. The 3 women were hysterically crying, having no clue their driver was wanted. Severino was hit with a long list of charges: reckless endangerment, unlawful imprisonment, and assaulting an officer. What makes this dashcam clip so insane isn't just the chase. It's that it happened in one of the most congested areas of Manhattan during morning rush hour. And while that moment was terrifying, The next one is pure nightmare fuel because it involves a baby getting ejected during a chase. This wasn't just reckless, it was horrifying. On December 1st, 2024, police in Bryan, Ohio, tried to stop 32-year-old Zachary Chervenka, who was wanted on multiple felony warrants. But instead of surrendering, Chervenka hit the gas with 2 young kids in the back of the car, including a 9-month-old baby. Dashcam footage shows the minivan flying down highways, weaving through traffic, and speeding through intersections. But during one sharp turn, something unthinkable happens. The side door slides open, and the baby, still strapped in a car seat, is flung out of the moving vehicle. The officers, unaware the child had been ejected, kept pursuing Chervenka for another 15 minutes. It wasn't until later, when the suspect called the mother and told her where to find the baby, that police discovered what had happened. The infant was found on the side of the highway, lying in the grass in freezing temperatures. Miraculously, the baby survived. No life-threatening injuries. Just pure luck and a dashcam clip that chilled every officer who watched it. Chervenka was arrested, charged with a long list of felonies, and thankfully, both children were placed into protective care. Up next, we've got a chase so wild it ended with sparks flying, cars flipping, and chaos you'll have to see to believe. This wasn't just a chase, it was a full-blown demolition derby on the streets of Miami. It started when police tried pulling over a stolen box truck, but instead of stopping, the driver floored it and turned the highway into his personal racetrack. Dashcam footage shows the box truck barreling through intersections, narrowly missing other cars, and flying past red lights at more than 100 miles per hour. The entire pursuit feels like it's seconds away from a major disaster. And then it happens. The truck loses control, clips a concrete median, and flips over in a violent crash. Sparks fly, debris scatters, and somehow nobody else is hurt. The dashcam captures every second of it. The stolen truck lands on its side, and within seconds, officers rush in with weapons drawn. The suspect tries to crawl out of the passenger window, but is immediately arrested. This is one of those chases where every second feels like a coin toss between survival and tragedy. The fact that no bystanders were injured is a miracle. And the best part is that the footage is crystal clear as you can see the sparks and smoke in real time. But from roaring engines to racing hearts, the next clip slows everything down to one moment and one life-saving decision. Some dashcam clips show chaos. This one shows instinct and a split-second decision that probably saved a life. In Fairfax County, Virginia, 2 officers were responding to a call during a rainstorm. One stepped out of his cruiser to redirect traffic. What no one saw coming was a speeding car barreling down the road, hydroplaning straight toward them. That's when it happened. Dashcam footage shows the second officer sprinting across the pavement, grabbing his partner by the vest and yanking him out of the way, just seconds before the car blasted through. You can hear the screech, see the blur, and feel the weight of what almost happened. Had that officer hesitated for even half a second, this would have been a fatality, not a rescue. The moment went viral for good reason. It's raw, it's real, and it shows exactly how dangerous even a routine traffic stop can be. And it's not just the act of heroism, it's the calm that follows as the officer pats his partner on the back like it was just another day at the office. Meanwhile, the next moment is anything but routine, because when a suspect hits the gas, not everyone walks away. Nothing says holiday spirit like a high-speed police chase featuring Santa Claus on a motorcycle. That's exactly what happened in late December 2024, when a Florida man dressed in full Santa gear decided to give state troopers the slip at 120 miles per hour. Dashcam footage shows the suspect weaving between cars on a black sport bike, blasting down the highway like he's late delivering gifts. The craziest part is he cuts through a gas station mid-pursuit to avoid a roadblock, narrowly missing multiple pumps and pedestrians. The chase started when officers tried to stop the bike for reckless driving, but instead of pulling over, Santa cranked the throttle. Despite multiple cruisers joining in, the suspect managed to vanish off the highway and escape into the city. As of the last update, police still hadn't caught him. And yes, it really was a Santa suit. Red coat, white beard, the whole thing. If there were awards for boldest holiday escape, this guy just won Christmas. It's one of those Dashcam moments that leaves officers shaking their heads and viewers wondering how the heck he pulled it off. But from costumed chaos to heartbreaking reality, the next entry reminds us how fast a normal day can turn into a nightmare. Some dashcam footage goes viral for the wrong reasons, and this one still breaks hearts. In November 2024, a Houston mother was walking across the street with her children when she was struck and killed by a police cruiser responding to a non-emergency call. The dashcam video, later released to the public, shows the officer driving without lights or sirens as he approaches a dimly lit crosswalk. The mother steps into the street, and within seconds, the unimaginable happens. The impact sends her flying several feet as her two children stand frozen in shock. The officer immediately stops, runs out of the car, and tries to help, clearly distraught, but it's too late. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Officials said the officer was not speeding at the time, but the incident sparked public outrage about pedestrian safety, police training, and accountability during patrols. Investigations were launched, and body cam footage, not shown, later confirmed the officer wasn't distracted, just unprepared for someone to be in the road. The footage is one of the most haunting clips ever released by Houston PD, not because of speed or action, but because of how fast tragedy struck during what was supposed to be a routine drive. And next, we shift from tragedy to absolute chaos, when a stolen truck turns a freeway into a war zone. This wasn't just a police chase, it was a demolition derby across Los Angeles County. On March 29, 2025, a suspect stole a flatbed truck and led California police on a heart-pounding pursuit that left cars smashed, civilians shaken, and one officer injured. Dashcam footage shows the truck barreling down the freeway, weaving between lanes, swiping vehicles left and right. At one point, it even mounts a sidewalk and narrowly misses pedestrians. Speeds hit over 100 miles per hour, and the driver completely ignores stoplights, roadblocks, and sirens. The chase lasted nearly an hour, stretching across multiple cities until the truck slammed through a red light and triggered a violent crash with several cars. Smoke, metal, and debris exploded across the road. The suspect jumped out and tried to run but was quickly tackled and arrested. One officer was injured in the scuffle but is expected to recover. This was a rampage, and the dashcam footage shows every terrifying second of it. But the next guy didn't just risk lives with reckless driving, he tried to light a bomb while running from police. When Washington State Police began a low-speed pursuit on Interstate 90, they didn't expect to end up tackling a man with a bomb in his hand. It started with a black Mercedes suspected of DUI. Officers deployed spike strips, deflating all four tires, but the suspect, 42-year-old Sokfana Song, kept driving. Dashcam footage shows the car crawling down the freeway, metal grinding on pavement, before finally coming to a stop. Swung jumps out of the car, holding a tennis ball-sized device and a lighter. It wasn't a prank or a bluff, it was an actual improvised explosive. Dashcam footage captures the moment he bolts across the highway, officers chasing behind. Just as he raises the lighter, he's tackled to the ground, and the device is secured before detonation. Police later confirmed it was a viable homemade bomb. Sewong now faces a long list of charges, including attempted arson, felony eluding, and possession of an explosive device. It's one of the most shocking dashcam captures in recent memory, and proof that no traffic stop is ever routine. And now, a driver pretends to be a cop and pulls someone over until the real cops show up. When a Florida trooper pulled over a gray Kia Stinger with illegal tints and a suspicious license plate, he didn't expect to be met with someone claiming to be a fellow officer. But the man behind the wheel wasn't law enforcement. he was a school principal. Dashcam footage shows 58-year-old Carlton Odell Johnson pulling out a gold star badge and saying, "I'm one of you," in a bizarre attempt to talk his way out of the stop. He insisted multiple times that he was a deputy, even saying, "I'm an officer. I work with the sheriff's office." But it didn't take long for the trooper to realize something wasn't right. Johnson couldn't produce official credentials or even name his supposed supervisor. After a quick background check, it became clear he was never in law enforcement. Turns out, Johnson was the principal of a K-8 school in Broward County. He was arrested on the spot for impersonating a police officer. The dashcam clip is a masterclass in how not to handle a traffic stop, and a reminder that some people will say anything to get out of a ticket. But the next suspect didn't talk his way out. He tried driving his way out, straight into a frozen riverbank. This one looked like a Grand Theft Auto mission gone wrong, except it was all real, and all caught on dashcam. Milwaukee police attempted to stop a vehicle linked to an earlier crime, but the driver had other plans. The suspect hit the gas and bolted through city streets, reaching dangerous speeds and blowing through red lights. Officers stayed in pursuit, keeping a close but cautious distance. Then, the suspect made a critical mistake. Dashcam footage captures the moment the car veers off the road, bounces over a snow-covered hill, and plunges straight down the icy Milwaukee riverbank. For a second, it looks like the car might go under. But instead, the driver flings open the door and bolts, running across the frozen river like he's in an action movie. One passenger was caught at the scene. The driver managed to escape across the ice, but not for long. Authorities later tracked him down and charged him with felony fleeing and auto theft. It's a perfect example of how quickly a chase can go from dangerous to downright absurd, and how dashcams keep rolling through it all. This was a chase that went from dangerous to disastrous, all caught on police dashcam. It started on a quiet Nottinghamshire road when 33-year-old Bobby Parr, driving a white Land Rover Discovery, was spotted by officers for not wearing a seatbelt. But instead of stopping, Parr decided to take off, slamming the accelerator and pushing the vehicle to speeds of 70 miles per hour in a 30 miles per hour zone. Dashcam footage shows Parr weaving through traffic, running red lights, and mounting the pavement as he desperately tried to escape the police. The pursuit continued down narrow streets, with officers struggling to keep up while trying to avoid innocent bystanders. Eventually, Parr's luck ran out when he lost control of the vehicle. The Land Rover crashed into a ditch on Lowfield Lane, coming to a violent halt. Despite the impact, Parr attempted to flee on foot, but was quickly apprehended by officers, who had to use a taser to subdue him. The footage, while intense, highlights the extreme danger of trying to outrun law enforcement. Parr was later sentenced to 13 months in prison, banned from driving for 5 years, and faced multiple charges, including dangerous driving and driving while disqualified. And just when you think you've seen it all, wait until you get to see our next entry. This is one of the earliest and most chilling examples of a police dashcam capturing an officer's final moments. In January 1991, Constable Daryl Lunsford pulled over a suspicious vehicle on a dark stretch of highway near Garrison, Texas. Inside were 3 men hauling over 30 pounds of marijuana. What began as a standard traffic stop quickly escalated into something tragic. Dashcam footage shows Lunsford speaking calmly with the men before asking to check the trunk. The moment he turns his back, the situation turns deadly. The men ambush him, one grabbing his weapon, another tackling him to the ground. The struggle moves off camera, but the audio captures the chaos. Seconds later, Constable Lunsford is shot and killed. The suspects flee, leaving his body beside the road. The footage was pivotal. It helped investigators track down all 3 suspects, who were later arrested and convicted. More importantly, the video became required viewing in law enforcement training programs across the country, serving as a brutal reminder of how quickly routine stops can turn violent. This wasn't just a crime, it was a turning point in police protocol. However, if you thought that was hard to watch, the next clip shows what happens when a high-speed pursuit ends in complete disaster. This chase didn't just break laws, it broke lives. On September 30th, dashcam footage captured the moment a 15-year-old led Euclid police on a reckless 10-mile pursuit through Ohio streets, leaving multiple people injured and a neighborhood shaken. It started when a license plate reader flagged a stolen Kia Sportage. Officers tried to pull the teen over, but he hit the gas. What followed was pure chaos. He ran red lights, swerved through busy intersections, and sped down narrow roads like it was a video game. The dashcam footage shows just how close he came to disaster. The chase ended in Cleveland when the stolen car slammed into a Kia Soul driven by a 56-year-old woman. The crash was brutal. One officer was injured earlier during the initial confrontation, and 2 teenage passengers, another 15-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl, were also inside the stolen car. The boy ran into a McDonald's to hide, but police chased and arrested him. Meanwhile, the girl was pulled out from under the wreckage, covered in blood. This was a series of life-threatening decisions with real consequences. Coming up next, a simple traffic stop ends with a police cruiser getting rammed head-on. In Grover Beach, California, a routine response turned into a violent assault when a DUI suspect used his truck as a weapon, and it was all caught on dashcam. On the night of February 2nd, 2024, officers were responding to reports of a crash on Leone Drive. When they arrived, they found 62-year-old Stephen Thomas behind the wheel of a 1974 Ford pickup truck. He had reportedly already hit another vehicle, and things were about to get worse. Dashcam footage shows the moment officers approached. Out of nowhere, Thomas hit the gas and steered directly into a patrol car, slamming into it head-on with enough force to crush the front end. One officer was injured in the impact, but thankfully survived. Thomas was quickly arrested and charged with DUI causing injury, assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer, and even attempted murder. This wasn't just a drunk driver, it was someone actively trying to hurt police. And the footage makes that clear. No sudden swerve, no accident. He aimed and hit. It's a reminder that even when you think the scene is under control, things can escalate in an instant. And in the next entry, a dashcam captures something you'd only expect in a movie. This dashcam clip looks like something from a Hollywood shootout, except it's 100% real, and it marked the end of a week-long manhunt that had Oklahoma on edge. In October 2016, Michael Vance went on a violent rampage. He had already murdered 2 family members, wounded 2 police officers, and live-streamed part of his escape on Facebook. For a full week, Vance stayed on the run, armed, dangerous, and unpredictable. The final confrontation was caught on a cruiser's dashcam. In the video, officers chase Vance down a rural highway in western Oklahoma. Then, out of nowhere, Vance opens fire from his stolen truck, rifle blasts flying toward the patrol cars. One officer, under fire, draws his own weapon and returns fire from behind the wheel of his cruiser while still driving. Bullets rip through both vehicles. The chase ends when Vance's truck crashes and flips. Officers move in fast. He's pronounced dead at the scene, bringing the deadly manhunt to an end. This moment wasn't just about adrenaline, it showed the terrifying reality of what law enforcement faces when cornering someone with nothing left to lose. Next, on the night of November 22nd, downtown Sonora, California turned into a war zone, and the whole thing was caught on dashcam. 29-year-old Bruce Snyder, a known parolee, was reported waving a gun outside a residence. When police responded, Snyder jumped into a blue El Camino and led officers on a pursuit through the heart of town. Just minutes later, he pulled over in front of a row of restaurants on Main Street and opened fire. Dashcam footage shows the terrifying moment Snyder steps out of the car and unloads his weapon toward Officer Ryan Webb. Webb, despite being shot in the hip, returns fire as civilians scatter nearby. This wasn't some remote chase. This was a shootout in the middle of a busy street on a Saturday night. Snyder jumps back in his car and drives off, with a wounded officer still in pursuit. 3 miles later, he circles back to the same spot and opens fire again. But this time, officers swarm in, guns drawn. The confrontation ends just 12 minutes after the initial 911 call. Snyder was pronounced dead at the scene. Police later confirmed every responding officer acted appropriately because Snyder made it clear he wasn't going back to prison. It started like a routine traffic stop on a quiet Minnesota road, but within seconds, things spiraled. Maple Grove police pulled over a driver suspected of a hit and run. The dashcam shows the officer calmly approaching the white SUV, speaking to the driver through the window. Then, suddenly, the car surges forward, with the officer still hanging on. The dashcam footage is terrifying. You see the officer trying to hold on as the vehicle swerves wildly, his legs nearly swept under the tires. He's dragged several feet before being violently thrown to the pavement. Backup units immediately respond and begin the chase, which ends in a crash after the suspect loses control. What was supposed to be a regular traffic stop turned into a full-throttle nightmare. Dashcam footage shows an officer pulling over a black sedan just outside a busy shopping center. The officer walks up to the driver's side, speaks for a few seconds, and then calmly asks the suspect to step out. But instead of complying, the driver throws the car into drive and hits the gas, with the officer's arm still inside the window. What happens next is chaos. The dashcam records the officer being dragged nearly 100 feet down the road. You can hear the screech of tires, see the officer's legs thrashing beside the moving car, and then he's thrown to the pavement like a rag doll. Somehow, the officer survives, but the injuries were serious, and the department called the attack an attempt to kill. The suspect didn't get far. A nearby patrol unit boxed in the vehicle after a short pursuit, and the driver was taken into custody. And that's a wrap on the craziest police dashcam moments ever caught on camera. Which moment had your jaw on the floor? Drop your favorite in the comments below, and if you made it this far, you already know we've got even more insanity coming your way. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.